Prostitution is one of the oldest professions in the world. Currently, there are 2,700 strip clubs in the United States alone, more than any other nation in the world. Presently, more women are employed by the sex industry than any other time in history. And yet, as mainstream as it has become, we view any work within the sex industry as an unrespectable and unfavorable profession. We shun these people in our society, and it is considered a taboo even to talk about these subjects. Two women on the forefront of the war against sex workers sat down with DBTV and gave insight into the growing but misunderstood sex industry.
I come from a background of sexual abuse and rape, and really found myself looking for my value in other people, namely men, and became involved in a relationship at the age of 15 that turned into a domestic violence relationship. And even though it was a really abusive situation, I didn't think I deserved any better, so I stayed, and I supported him financially as well. So by the time I was 19 years old, I was $35,000 in debt and on the brink of bankruptcy, and someone suggested I become a stripper. I think that in pop culture, it's portrayed as quite a bit more glamorous and, an empowering thing that women can do and be beautiful and, not be on the bottom end of the totem pole, sort of. But in real life, I know at first I felt a sense of empowerment because I thought, all these years I've been objectified. All these years I've had, guys looking at me and, treating me like an object. And so now I'm getting paid for it. So I felt in a sense like I was taking back control of my sexuality. But then as time went on, I felt more and more out of control and more like I was just being re-objectified and re-exploited, but now, I just have money to show for it at the end of a shift, but it didn't change what I thought was happening. And then also, in the media, when you have the girls in the golden bikinis, looking all gorgeous, you don't see, how we would get treated by customers and, cursed at and called names and, just treated really horribly a lot of the times. You're propositioned, almost every night, and even pressured in my case by the owners. Like they would, say, like the owner in my case would say, you're coming on a date with me, and I would say, no, I'm not. And then he would say, yes, you are. I'm taking off the schedule until you do, and then you go on a date with the owner. And I was always pretty firm with my boundaries, and I never, crossed that line and slept with anybody. I was only in the business for a short time, and I know, over time it really wears on girls, especially maybe they started off like the young, fresh face, making a lot of money, and then, new girls come in, there's more competition, and women feel more and more pressure to do that so that they can make the money. But here's the problem. Like, for example, there was a time where, a customer, I told him not to touch me, and he did, and I beat him up, and then he called the police on me. And I thought, are you kidding me? He violated me. This is self-defense, And the cops didn't see it that way because here I am, half naked, in stilettos, working in a strip club. I don't feel like I had the same rights as I would if I worked, at the Adidas store and my manager, was coming on to me or something, because it's just not taken as seriously. It's like, are you kidding me? That's what you're here for. I mean, everybody's different, but what I find in working with women in the industry is a lot of times they end up establishing a lifestyle that they can't support unless they stay in the business, which is one of the things that makes it difficult to leave. I think that I've been able to use my past and my experiences to help encourage other women. That's the point. That's what I hope for. So Treasures is an outreach and support group to women in the sex industry, and started about 4.5 years ago, and just really coming from a place where I know that I would have appreciated some support or a listening ear, or some place that I could go and talk about my experiences, free of judgment, and also some encouragement, because there's a certain point where you maybe you want to get out, but you don't know how, and you don't think it's possible, and you just start, that's how I felt at least. And so really it's a relational approach. We're not going in there telling girls to leave the business, but if girls want to leave the business, we'll do whatever we can to support them in that journey. And for those that don't, we just want to reinforce that they are valuable and that they are loved and that they are purposed. And, just really communicate that to them. So we go to 170 strip clubs a year in LA, Orange County, and Las Vegas. And we give gifts to the girls just, with lip gloss, jewelry, fun girly things, and just with a simple message that they're loved. So we just do whatever we can to encourage her to become the woman that she was created to be.
On the other side, Mariko, also an alumna of UCLA and founder of the UCLA chapter of the Sex Workers Outreach Project, had a different take on the issue.
Society just doesn't want to make room for sex workers and prostitutes to exist, so they make the system which they have no resources, so hopefully they will die off, kind of like the homeless, I've always been very proud of who I am and what I do, and that it's really not been something that it's helped me to really come into touch with my sexuality and a lot of personal experiences that I've had that have caused me pain, so I use it to really as a form of therapy, and it paid well. So it paid well, and the hours were really flexible, and I learned different aspects of business and running a business, and it was really fun. I think prostitution is a misdemeanor, and it's not even comparable to selling drugs. In its essence, we're actually giving good things. We're not hurting people. And because of its criminalized status, people are actually able to hurt us. SWAP as a whole nationally is working on decriminalizing prostitution. We have about 14 different chapters nationally, and everybody has their own mission. So I felt like becoming a sex worker was really me taking on male privilege, firsthand. And I feel empowered because of that, that sort of you're making them pay, Not that's maybe not directly the person, but I feel like in a sense that when a client pays for my time, that he's paying for his male privilege, or he's paying for the inequality that exists between women and men.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm getting my own little justice. Right. And you look at men and you're like, what do you want? What? Yeah. Yeah, here's my card, call me. You really want me to call you? It's, $300, or something like that.
One has built a profession through her own experience of stripping to help girls escape the sex industry, while the other has built a business on empowering women by staying in the sex industry. However society decides to view each woman, it is clear that both are leaders and are changing the way the sex industry is looked at day after day. From Daily Bruin Television, this is Esther Joe.